Hey everybody, Mr. Ensmayer here. This is going to be a quick video. I know you've done a decent amount of work this week, so I'm going to show you something we call the opacity of the form. If we go to the form properties, let's do what we always do. I'm going to call this opacity, and I'm going to go to my background color, put on something, who knows, brown. I don't know how that's brown, but okay, it's brown. All right, the other thing I'm going to do, I did close my toolbox, go to View, Toolbox, bring that back. I'm going to make a timer. So type in timer up here, double click, and for this one, I'm going to keep it as false, and I'm going to make the interval be 10. So keep it as false, interval 10. All right. Oops, I think I just accidentally made a second timer. Hang on, let me just go down there and delete that. All right, so that's all set up. Yep, it's all set up. All right, on your form, there is a property called the opacity. It's whether your form is opaque or partially transparent, translucent. If I change that, let's say I change it to like 50%. Nothing happens here. If I run the program, though, it is dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Look at that. A little bit transparent, a little bit translucent, not so opaque. So why did I make a timer? Well, I'm going to have this fade out. Also, if I have something on the form, it is opaque or transparent or translucent as well. So for example, if I make a label, let me smack that label in the middle. For this, I'm going to say, hello. And I will turn the auto size to false. I will change the font to nice big 72-point font. Resize this thing. There we go. Change the text alignment to middle center. Very nice, very nice. All right. Line that up. All right, so back to my opacity, whatever. If I make that 100% again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my timer decrease that when I click on the form. Now, clicking the form is a different action we have not taken before. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to double click the form. It takes me to form load, but that's not what I want this time. I want drop down to form events, and then drop down to click. You can do this to a form. You don't have to stick with form load. There's other things you can do. When you click the form now, something's going to happen. So I'm going to erase form load. I don't need that anymore. I'm going to turn the timer on. Timer 1 enabled equals true. When I click the form, it starts the fade out effect. So drop down to form click and then make the form click event be enabling the timer. Now, drop down to timer, drop down to tick. I need to change the form's opacity. If I say form 1 dots, I want to remind you of this because I think it's come up a couple times. Form 1 cannot refer to itself. It's like The Rock, who calls himself The Rock in third person. Like The Rock says, you don't call that grammatically correct. It should be me. Me dot opacity. When you're talking about button 1, you say button 1. We're talking about label 1, you say label 1. But when you're talking about the form, you say me dot. Me dot opacity equals me dot opacity minus, let's say, 1%, right? Let's try it. When I click on it, it should fade out 1% at a time. So click. Oh my gosh, what happened? It's because it's a percent. It's not -1, you just subtracted 100%. How about subtracting 0.01? Okay, so it is a percentage here. Remember, me refers to form 1. Opacity is measured as a percentage. So 0.01 is 1%. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Let's try it again. Watch what happens. Click, fades away. Now, here's where you also have to be careful. It's still there. You know how I can tell that? The program's still running. I can still see the stop button up top, and I can see the form in my taskbar down here. I don't know if that shows up on my my screencast, but it's down here. You need to make sure to close the program, otherwise it stays in memory. Like, you can't run it while it is doing that. So my recommendation is this. Have a little if statement. Say if, not if, but really when it gets to 0, then we should end the program. So if I say end, I'm having flashbacks because I feel like in the new version of Visual Studio, end messes up. Let me try this. I think it's going to give me a little error or something. Okay, I'm wrong. I'm thinking of another language, I guess. So end just ends the program. So there you have it. If you want to do transparency, translucency, there you can have it. Have a good one. Short one today.